From the rugged shore and woodlands of the north, its history of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fisheries. To the farmlands of the southern counties we'll look around again at all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan. And sometimes when the moon brings out the diamonds in the snow, and the stillness of the forest lies encased in Arctic cold, the wind might whisper through the trees, listen if you can, it tells you of the beauty in this state of Michigan.
Right now we are on live Michigan Outdoors Big Buck Night, PBS throughout Michigan and throughout Canada. This is an exciting moment, is it not? This moment is so exciting here on PBS that we have none other than the legendary Paul Mickey right here. He's the guy who's in Outdoor Life magazine, various magazines. We couldn't get a hold of him during hunting season. He refuses to take time to do anything else but hunt. This was the state record non-typical deer.
Yes, it is.
And Paul, we finally got you on television when you have been unseated. Here it is, Glenn Williams from the Michigan Big Game Hunters Association. You are holding what?
Well, it's a new state record, 25 points bigger than Paul Mickey's.
Oh, Paul. We're still going to give him a moment of glory here tonight, as well as Mark Ritchie. Look at this rack. This is the state record typical. You thought you were going to be edged out tonight, didn't you?
I kind of thought so.
2/8 of a point short is what the other rack is scoring out to be right now. But we're going to talk to these big buck winners, big buck all-time winners, and we have some more with some unusual stories. Right here, behind them, we have, believe it or not, the little bucks of Big Buck Night. These are, you guys got the tiny ones of the big ones. And this is something else. We're here on a not our normal Michigan Outdoor set. If you are watching this on Channel 56, which comes from Detroit, or Channel 35 in Grand Rapids, you saw our regular Michigan Outdoors program, which just finished, just at 8 o'clock. The rest of you around the state, if the program is scheduled after 9, you'll be seeing an hour and a half of Michigan Outdoors tonight. I think that's great, don't you?
Sure.
Remember the old days when Morton F. was on and he had Big Buck Night?
Yeah.
That was the most popular show of the year. Except for, do you know what the other one was? What was the second most popular show that Morton F. had? You don't know? Wild Game Cooking Contest. That's right. We are having, in March, during the March Pledge period, the Wild Game Cooking Contest right here. We are going to eat some of these deer, hopefully with some award-winning recipes. Just before we get into Big Buck Night, I want to say to you folks, especially hunters, we have a sign over here on our Michigan Outdoors cabin that you've seen often. It says, hunters pay for conservation. Step right aside there. There we go. Hunters pay for conservation. Do we not? We do. Through our license fees, we provide wildlife areas for everybody in this country. What hunters have done is really just about all that's been done for wildlife. You believe it? That is the truth. That's the truth, folks. These big buck hunters here tonight aren't glory seekers. Well, Mark and Paul, they like the publicity. They're serious hunters. How many of you here would have taken a smaller deer during deer season if one came along, if it wasn't this one? Everybody? You see, these guys were lucky. Lucky hunters, right? Most of us. That's what we're celebrating here tonight on PBS. I just want to ask you to call the number that's on the bottom of your screen. Give that number a call. That's your local PBS station somewhere in Michigan, and if you're in Canada, there's special numbers that Channel 56 has. You are making history. The rating period is over for the November rating period for television throughout Michigan, throughout the United States, and I'll tell you what, we are making bigger numbers than any rating period right here on this pledge special. That's a truth. Now let's start talking to some of the big buck winners. This little guy, Kevin Lada, 10-point buck. First year of hunting.
Yep.
You lucky son of a gun. Not many 14-year-olds get to stand here and qualify with a big buck. It made our 10-point minimum for our Stroh's Hunting Awards. Brad Bruce, Michigan Taxidermist Association. You're getting your share of these heads, aren't you?
For sure.
I imagine,
right.
And all the taxidermists around Michigan.
Right.
This is a 10-pointer. Why is it a 10-pointer?
Well, what we did in the scoring, Fred, was basically count the points, and we were also measuring the longest main beams and Also, the greatest outside spread.
Greatest outside spread. These are for some special awards.
Right, absolutely.
Real simple system we have here on Michigan Outdoors for our Stroh's Awards, and that's just count the points, basically.
Right.
This is for fun, right? For fun. You're having fun, aren't you?
Yeah.
This point right there made it because it's an inch long.
Right.
Where do you measure that? Where do you start the inch?
Basically, where the point itself comes into the main beam perpendicular to it, in an imaginary line, or you can draw a line on there, but then that would qualify. And this one does is 1 inch point, or
I
1
tell
inch
you what,
longer.
Kevin, you got a lot of attention here on statewide primetime live television. Congratulations. Way to go. Kevin. Louis Hoffinger got a 13 point with a rifle. You're from Auburn. That is well, it's pretty symmetrical. That's a nice deer. Is that the biggest one you've ever taken?
Biggest I've had.
Oh, I guess so. Terrific. Ed Bennett from Galesburg, Southern Michigan deer, I bet?
Yes.
On the second day of the season. How many points?
11.
Why does it look like there's more than 11? They didn't give you that one?
Yep, they didn't give it to me.
Oh, Brad. Okay, at home, it's a 12 point.
It's 12.
Yeah, it's 12. You bet. Now we have Tom Lafferty from Birch Run with a shotgun. Boy, that is on you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you must have how many on this side? 6. They didn't give you these?
No, they didn't
You
give
see,
that one
if
either.
I should change that. I mean, bumps. I think bumps should score, don't you? But that's any big story behind this buck?
No, not really.
Not really. I'll bet you the guy will talk your ear off. I'll tell you ask him about this buck in a little bit. Doug Rudd from Auburn Hills, taking Thanksgiving Day in the morning. Well, look at that. That has some tall tines. How tall is that?
11 and a half.
Wow. Almost tall enough to be our winner. You got something to say here, Doug? I can tell.
It's probably the only 7 point here.
7 points. So why is it here?
Well, because of the width.
The width. You were, until some other fellow showed up tonight with some bigger ones, you had the widest spread. How wide is this?
I think it's 24 inches.
Wow. 24 and 2/8, I think, exactly.
Yeah.
That is a wide rack. You know what the purpose is of us scoring wide racks?
No.
Me neither, but it's fun, isn't it? It got you on television.
Got me here.
Wide racks, big wide racks. That's what I like to see. Simon Lothamer,
Right,
you got this with a bow.
right.
You've been hunting long?
18 years,
How many deer?
15.
He's a hot dog. Are you particular about taking big deer?
I have in the last couple of years.
Oh, you've gotten good, huh? What's the secret?
No secret.
No secret? I bet. Hey, you know, it wouldn't be a secret if you told us.
That's right.
You'd hunt from a tree?
Sure do.
Use scents? Okay. Which kind? Oh, well, you got some secrets. Patricia Crisenberry from Battle Creek at 10 point with a shotgun, your first year hunting?
Absolutely.
Patricia, step right up here. Are there a lot of other women in the woods that you've talked to, run into?
Not that I've run across.
Does
I
that,
wish there were more.
you do?
Yes.
Could they hunt with you?
No problem.
We've had women write into us saying, do you have names of any women who I could hunt with?
That'd be great.
Well, okay, I tell you, write us in. Women, if you'd like to form a little club here, Pat's the chairman of it, right?
I guess I've been elected.
Whoa! Okay, Pat Grisenberry. Keith Dotz from Fowlerville. You had a 14 point we had on your tag here.
It's only a 12.
It's only a 12. It's
Typo.
just a 12. It's a typo. Wow, that's a great rack. That's a heavy beam rack, too. Where'd you take it?
Right behind the house, Livingston County.
Livingston County? Did you have to go hunting for it, or?
No, I
Just
sat
on-
down about 10 minutes later. You walked.
Oh, man, what a story. William Dethrick from Oscoda got this with a rifle, Northern Michigan buck.
Iosco County.
Oh, in Iosco County. Okay, oh, look at this. That's the kind of rack I love to see. You were probably pretty happy, Don, when you ran across
Yes, I
this one.
was.
13 point with a shotgun, November 15th, around Lansing.
Yeah, around Clinton County.
Great. Don Bolt. Boy, I'd be proud of that rack if I were you. Has anybody here taken a bigger deer than this in their hunting? Wider? See? See why we talked about why score them wide? Now he's already got one bigger because it was wider. Louis Lachik from Standish, 13 point rifle on opening day. Yeah. Louis, good work.
Thank you.
Doug Bax from Hanover, shotgun on the 16th. Most of you fellas take these deer and gals opening day or the day after? You got to get out there early, huh? Okay, we're getting down here towards the end of our... These are all under 13 points, or 13 points and under. Randy Wilford from Gladwin. You're an MSU student?
Yep.
You're going to be a farmer?
Turf grass management.
Turf grass. Well, that's close enough, huh?
Yep.
In vocational agriculture. This is a 13-point rack. And where'd you get it?
Gladwin, Michigan.
Oh, some good country up there. Great. Now, Greg Stouffer, how'd you get this mounted already?
Yeah, it's been there since the 20th.
Since the 20th?
Yeah.
The fastest taxidermist in the West, in the East, I'll tell you. You got this with a bow. This was on the show on our
Yeah.
trophy book last week. This is the one that you lost, couldn't locate, and what happened?
Some fishermen found it.
I tell you, the hunting and fishing fraternity pulls together to locate this deer. Why were they out fishing, did you ask them? They should
catch bass.
Oh, they should have been hunting. Catch bass, were they doing any good?
Yeah, they were doing pretty good.
Well, hey, that's quite a story. But this represents a couple days of tracking for you.
Yeah.
Great story. Bob
Stankiewicz.
I need you when I do the trophy book every week for pronunciation. You got a 12-point where?
Delta County, Upper Peninsula.
Ah, outstanding buck. Doug Jackson, Mount Pleasant. 13-point. Where'd you get this one?
Near Clare.
Oh, I didn't see any deer like that up around Clare. My son and I hunted there, and we got some small ones. Could you tell me exactly where?
Not exactly.
Not exactly where. That's a story right here with a lot of these deer. Scott Hamlin from Grayling, 13-point. Did you get this up in Grayling?
Just west of Grayling.
Crawford County. You know, that's where most of the deer come in the state, from that belt across the northern part. But we don't very often get the big ones from up there. Congratulations for qualifying with that. I want to take just a moment here to say these are our little bucks of big buck night, 13 points and down. We have some huge ones on deck right here. Look at that one right there, Bill. You got one in your sights. Oh, an outstanding rack. Barry, you going to come back in a few minutes and tell us the story behind this rack?
Yeah, I guess it could.
I guess he could. I never heard a hunter who couldn't. We are having this big buck night special here for PBS. PBS is really having it for hunters, because hunters are the ones who pay for conservation. We are the ones who have made television history, not just outdoor history, not just PBS history, but television history. You folks, especially hunters in the fall, who have called in and made the pledge breaks around Michigan Outdoors record-setting around the state. Bob Garner, all of the people here who have big bucks on Big Buck Night are going to receive what from
Well,
us?
they're going to receive, first of all, this hat, the official Michigan.
The reason we put this together is to give hunters and fishermen something other than just a television show on Thursday night. We want to put a magazine in your hands. We want to have you join us for PBS pledges, and so we can put programs like this on the air. This is live. Isn't that great, live television? Huh?
Yeah.
Wasn't this way since the days of Mort Neff. Mort, by the way, will be on the program next week. We've done some fishing with him this summer. Mort is up in Harbor Springs right now in a couple feet of snow, as I understand it. But he's going to be on next week. It'll be good to see him. This is the old Mort Neff method of scoring the racks, with counting the points, looking at the outside spread. We're going to be back in just a few minutes with some unusual, big, all-time winning racks. We're going to get, I guess Paul Mickey left this group right here. We're going to get the story from some of the record winners, the 6th largest buck rack in the world. And you know where it was taken?
Where?
Right here in Michigan.
Great.
Isn't that great? Hey, I am proud to be here on Big Buck Night with these hunters. Hunters, I think, are just the best people going, don't you?
Yep.
I mean, we are down home, down to earth, and it's good to see that PBS puts us kind of folks on TV, isn't it? Yes. And I think that hunters have responded, you've called, and that's what we're going to be asking you to do during this next 5 minutes. You know, we have a 1-hour live special right here. We could have more 1-hour specials. So stay tuned, please call, and listen to what the local folks have to say right now. I called this one. This is yours?
Yeah.
This is the 4th largest.
Those are 4th largest. Yeah.
Okay. That's a.
I shot him with a bowl.
We're on. This is live television. Big Buck Night here on PBS. Caught me off guard as we're looking at what used to be the state record non-typical rack. And this fella here has, what rack is this?
Fourth largest shot with bow in Michigan.
Fourth largest shot with a bow. And you are
Zach Trost.
Zach Trost.
Can't say I wasn't lucky enough to get this one.
Vaguely familiar. My son Zach got a deer bigger than mine this year. And Brad Bruce, president of the Michigan Taxidermist Association, I sent our antlers down. Do you remember how big those antlers were from my sons and my deer?
Well, they were huge, Fred.
They were.
I will verify that they were good horns.
I got
good
a 4-point.
Right.
That you would have scored a 2-point.
Right.
Zach got a 6-point that you would have scored a 4-point.
Right.
We're still having them mounted on boards and put at home because we are mighty proud of those, aren't we, Zach?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that there's any chance that any day that you'll get a dip buck like this?
Sure.
I knew he'd say that. I knew he'd say. He actually thinks he will. Well, that's great. This story, though, goes with Paul Mickey, and this is the fourth largest what?
Buck and shot with a bow.
In Michigan. And you did that when?
82.
And you got this buck
76.
in 76. Hold this up here. Look at this. This is the one that I saw in Outdoor Life magazine, listen. Phenomenal story. Why don't you just give a little recap for all of the hopefuls out there who hunt bucks, what it takes?
Probably takes a lot of luck, and if you didn't have a hunting partner in the first place, he was the first one to see it.
Oh, yeah?
And he shot and missed it with a bow, and if he would have got it with the bow, I believe it would have been the third largest in the nation at the time.
Wow.
North America. He told me I had about 12 points. He wasn't sure. So. And previous time, 2 times I saw him before I shot him, I could never see how many points he had, but I remember the day I shot him, I figured he'd at least have 12 points. Well, he sure did. He had 12 on one side.
12 on one side?
At least.
How many altogether? Do you know?
31 points.
31? Wow. That is outstanding. This is now the second in the record book in Michigan.
It's got to be. There's the
Now
outstanding
look at
one
this.
right beside
Look at this. Where else, honestly, where else, 8 o'clock, 8:30, Thursday night, prime time live, would you ever see big bucks like this, except on PBS? Please, if the phones are jammed in your area where you're calling in, keep them jammed because, excuse me, Glenn, I got to say this. Hunters and fishermen who are calling in on behalf of outdoor programming, please call during this hour. If you decide, hey, it'd be a good idea to support PBS because they've sure been nice to hunters and fishermen, and you call tomorrow, it'll help. It'll help PBS. But the problem is from our hunters and fishermen's perspective is that they count up, in PBS, they count up how many calls were made around each program. So if you call tomorrow and say, hey, it's because I like Michigan Outdoors and I like hunting and fishing on TV, it's likely to go in the Sesame Street tally or in some other program. So please, call now. It's your 1 hour of glory. It's our 1 hour of glory to raise money for PBS and to put more hunting and fishing programs on prime time, live, maybe a couple hour specials this coming year. How'd you like to do an hour special on big bucks?
Sounds good.
We could do it with your support out there, so keep calling, keep those phones ringing. Glenn Williams from the newly formed Michigan Big Game Hunters Association. Where did you buy this?
Well, this happens to be one of our measures for Michigan Big Game Hunters Association. Dennis Salzgiver dug this out of the woodwork. We have a lot of deer like this in Michigan. They're hiding under people's beds or in garages, and we're out to find them.
This is an outstanding rack that is the #1.
It will be the new #1 record for Michigan. It's for Boone and Crockett non-typical would be 6th in the nation right now, worldwide.
And when was this taken?
2 years ago.
In the UP. Look at the palmation on this rack. That is something else. When you measure a rack for Boone and Crockett, Pope and Young, Commemorative Bucks, Michigan Big Game Hunters Association, where do you measure? I mean, I know you measure the length of the tines, right?
Right. This one's pretty hard to measure, I'll tell you.
Don't you measure between
yes, you do.
the antlers?
Four different circumferences, from starting from the first point on down to the 4th point. And you measure your length of your main beams, inside spread, and the length of each point, and you go on symmetry. And then, of course, this one has abnormal points, and you score the abnormal points with it.
Oh, this is beautiful. But that's too complicated, Glenn, for folks like me on Michigan Outdoors. I just count the points.
We got to educate you.
No, I tell you, there's lots of systems for tallying points on deer. A fun system is just to see how many points it has. Here we have a story with John View. Let's work up, John, to this. You were on Big Buck Night last year, year before.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And this was the biggest buck that we had on then. But let's start down here with this fella. What's your name?
Jeff Rapp.
Jeff?
Rapp.
Jeff Rapp. What is this all about?
My friend found this antler, Steve Emke, and that goes with this.
And that goes with this. what he's trying to say is, found this antler in the woods a couple years ago. The following year, these antlers were found separately, right?
Yep.
Is that right, Dan? Okay. If you notice how these match up, can you see this? You see how they match up with these points right here, and this point, that point? This is the same. This came from the same deer that this antler did. But these were found, dropped antlers that were found in the woods. So we have the little buck, the bigger buck, and then the following year, John View from Troy took this one. And you can see, want to hold this right up there? Put it right over the top. That's the same deer with its antlers bigger yet. Outstanding story. Who gets those antlers?
He does.
He does? Because he found them. Hey, that's the way it should be. He gets on Big Buck Night. John, this was a Southern Michigan deer. A lot of people know where you got this. Don't
More than I'd like to.
they? Was it pretty crowded the following year? In your hunting spot? Or did you go to another
it was
spot?
slightly more.
Okay. How did you do this past season?
Past season?
Yeah, this past year.
Not so. I got a 6 point.
A 6 point? I think that's great. I think that's outstanding. But I tell you, John View has quite a story with these dropped antlers. All of these are stories that we could go on and on about on Michigan Outdoors. Speaking of stories, Dennis, look at this guy. One of the few, if not the only one. I haven't checked all the racks yet, but Dennis, what's your story with these two racks?
Well, both of these deer were taken from the same area, within 100 yards apart. One was taken with a bow, the 11-pointer was taken with a bow. This one was taken with a shotgun.
You got them both?
Got them both.
Dad, you're never going to do that again, I don't think. Buck's that big. Now, this is a 9-point? Which one?
Yes, they're scoring this as a 9-point.
Oh, Brad! Don't you round off to the nearest inch? Can't we do that? We could give it to you. You're on Big Buck Night anyway. Boy, I tell you, I don't know. I'd really fight for that. I'm going to have an appeal process, even when we just count the points. Dennis Komanian,
right.
Is that how you pronounce it, from Inkster? I might be able to top you. Come on down here. We have a fellow here. Let's get John Hendricks down here. John, he also has 2 sets of antlers from this season. Hold them up there, John. Why don't you take them apart? You can't?
I can if the heads are off. But you get the heads on, they can't because they bumped their noses together.
These are, long and short of it is, there's a shot of 2 deer that had their antlers locked in what would be a death fight.
Yes. As a matter of fact, this antler was underneath the height of this other buck here, about 1.5 inches.
No kidding.
It was impossible for them to come apart.
So you have 2 racks that are how big?
I think there's about 9 on one and 7 on the other.
9 on other. How do we score this, Glenn? On locked antlers. Now, John has locked antlers there. 16 points altogether. Can we give it to him?
Sure, we can give it to him. Why not?
Okay, hey, I tell you what. That's right, Fred Trost Big Buck scoring system. A lot of people complain about it, but I like it because everybody's a winner. I hope so.
Story behind this.
Yeah, what happened?
I'm a taxidermist myself, and when I shot the 9-point, he more or less dropped on the 7-point and broke the 7-point's neck. And I hope I can stuff these creatures with my boys.
Stuff?
Well, I'm a taxidermist.
Stuff? That's right, taxidermists can say that. Yes. But it's really an art.
Yes, it is artwork. And do these the same as they were before I shot, so the public's eye can get the same view that I had,
We'll bring our cameras, or else have these done on the show. When you get them, when are you going to have them done, next year?
It's very possible. I'm loaded right now with a lot of work.
Hey, that's great. Mark Ritchie. This guy has a rack that is currently... Hold it up there, Mark. What is this? Let me do all the work? Okay, tell me about this deer. This is one that... Go ahead, give me the story.
Oh, I took this deer last year during the firearms season with a single shot, and I got it on the 2nd day of the season, about 40-yard shot.
I tell you, this is one guy who called up and complained about Fred Trost's scoring system like you wouldn't believe. His friends called up, you should have heard the phone. These guys said, hey, he's got the biggest buck in the state record rack, and it is, according to Boone and Crockett, commemorative bucks, Big Game Hunters Association. This is the biggest because of the symmetry, right? It's almost perfect. What doesn't match?
I had a couple deductions, small point here.
This small point here, on a scoring system like Boone and Crockett, is a deduction. You subtract the length of that from your score.
If it's an inch long.
And there's another little bump right there.
That wasn't, but this tine is a wee bit shorter than this one.
Than that one?
There was a little deduction there.
Right now, Michigan has not produced a rack as big nor as symmetrical as the one that Mark Ritchie got. Mark, you were almost edged out by 1/4 of an inch this year.
That's what I hear.
But it looks like you're going to hang on. And here's a fella, look at this, wearing our Michigan Outdoors, Fred Trost Michigan Outdoors Club, members, Strohs, all that from our Big Buck Night turnaround here. Don, show him like, no, back here, his back. It's Trost Big Buck winner. Okay, way to go, turn around. Don Walter was a winner last year. How many point buck?
17.
And that was, how big in our ranking?
Yep, took 4th.
Took 4th place last year. And this year you got?
11 point with a bow.
Outstanding. He qualified 2 years in a row. This does not happen very often. That's a great. Any big story behind this?
No, just that the program you showed with that buck, Dr. Lowe, did the same thing to me on the first shot, and I got him on the second.
On the second? You are one lucky dude.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, this insignia right here, I want to explain, on his shirt is what is on the patch that we have 1,500 of these camouflage hats, right, Bob? 1,500 of the camouflage hats.
Yeah, about 1,500.
That insignia anymore. We're going to a logo that says Fred Trost Outdoors Club. It has a fish and a deer on it. And the reason we're doing that is because on PBS, we are looking to go national. Now we're still going to do a Michigan Outdoors show. Don't get us wrong. Because every Thursday night we're going to bring you Michigan Outdoors, and every Thursday night we will also be bringing the rest of the country a show which we're going to call the Outdoor Digest. Same basic show, all Michigan stuff. We're not going anyplace, but we're going to spread out the message of hunting and fishing. We may very well have next year have a live national Big Buck Night. Wouldn't that be incredible? Let's take a look at this rack here, Glenn. This is the #1 non-typical. This is going to be your last chance to look at it on primetime TV. I want you to remember you're looking at it on PBS. We do not have commercials on PBS. We do break a couple times a year to ask you for pledges to see if you'll send some money. Now, they're going to tell you during the local pledge breaks at your local stations why you get tax credits, all the good things that you get, and premiums and items on art print, the limited edition art print. That's all fine and dandy. But I'll tell you what the ball game is from my point of view, folks, and especially you hunters, I'm talking just to you. The ball game is hunting on television. Hunting on primetime TV, live 1-hour specials. This is unheard of. I think this is the value of Big Buck Night. The whole country gets to see what hunters are all about. I think we're a great bunch of guys, don't you? And gals. We have some gals. We have kids. A lot of people participate in hunting in this country. How many of you ate venison from your deer this year? Well, they're all wiggling and trying to put their arms up. Hey, we're going to come back and talk about that just a minute. Now we go to the locals. Okay, I tell you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to put that hat on you there, Dan. That's your Michigan Outdoors Club hat. Oh, you didn't like the way I put it on? Dan Huffman, Rapid River, Big Buck winner on tonight's show. But we're going to get to all of these fellas here, these and gals. Leona, you got a story to tell. Woman with the biggest buck. I want to get down here and talk to some of these fellas with the 14-pointers. That's what we're going to start with right now, 14-pointers. Now, I want to know the story behind your deer that your dad's holding. Huh? What's your name?
Danny.
Danny? How did Danny get this buck?
Well, we was hunting first Sunday of season.
Marvin Beebe, by the way, right, Marv?
Yep.
And you're from Riverdale?
Right.
And you and your son are a team?
Right.
That's great. That's
And,
super.
Well, the guy that I was hunting with missed him 6 times.
No kidding?
Yep.
That wasn't you, was it? You're not old enough to hunt. Okay. But you're going to get a big buck like this when your dad can put a gun in your hands when you're 14? Okay, what? You know, one nice thing, I'm sure he's quiet in the blind.
Right.
That's good. Okay, this is a 14-point buck. Look at how white it is. It's got those antlers bleached out. Outstanding rack. And here, you're on the little end
Right.
of this. Well, I don't know. These are all winners in my book. Tom Crooks from Kalamazoo. You got this up north.
Yes, Gibbs City.
Gibbs City. Where's Gibbs City?
It's north of Iron River.
Oh, up in the UP.
Yes, the UP.
Outstanding. What a rack.
Thank you.
Look at that. And that, you know, it's interesting how this one is bleached out and this one isn't. All kinds of theories and reasons for things like that. And another bleached out rack here. Dennis Allen from Manitou Beach, 14-point opening day. Whew. You must have been excited.
I was.
Now, what about Barry, though? He seems so calm, cool, collected. Huh?
Just one up north and come back, got him the day before the season ended. I had been up there for 2 weeks.
Now, hold it. You got him what?
Day before the season ended, just down here.
Oh, day before the season ended.
Yeah, Calhoun County.
Yeah, okay, let's clarify that. Calhoun County buck, that's an unusual rack, but I sure like those thick beam types. Would you have rather hit a tall, skinny rack?
I really don't care.
You don't care. You'll keep that one. Okay. Speaking of tall and skinny, at 7 foot, not quite. Timothy Baird from Chesaning is a mighty tall guy, I'll tell you that. And you got a buck with mighty tall tines. How many points? 15? 15. Shotgun in Genesee County. Looks like Southern Michigan pulled through again. And here we have the guy who we were about to announce. This is Jake Roberson. Roberson? From Adrian. Why don't you grab hold of this here, Jake? With a 15-point buck that you thought was going to be
state record.
State record. Mark, hold it up here. Show him what a rack that's 1/4 of an inch bigger looks like. Right here, Mark Ritchie. These two guys were in a neck-and-neck contest. Not much chance that this is going to get any bigger either when it dries.
I think
so. Okay. Dennis Green from Rockford. He got the buck. We're down to our big ones right now. He got the buck that had the longest tine, right?
Right.
And that turns out to be 12 7/8 inches. This one right here. I don't know of any tine longer than this in the state. That is a neat rack. Got it all mounted up already. We'll probably see you at the Sportsman's Banquet. You got to be the winner with the longest tine. Kevin Shannon. Well, Shannon here, he took a couple, didn't you? You got the widest outside spread. How wide?
I don't know. They never
You
told
don't
me.
know? Oh, I'll tell you. Kevin, it is 28 3/8 inches wide, and the circumference of the burr, this is the largest one that's been measured so far that we have here on Big Buck Night, 6 3/4 inches. So you picked up in two categories with a 16-point. George Doobie from Montrose with a shotgun. You tied Gerald Schmidt for the longest main beam, issued from there to there. Right, Jerry?
Yes.
And you got yours with a rifle where?
Drummond Island.
Oh!
This is Bruno.
Bruno from Drummond Island,
Legend of
right
Drummond
here.
Island, yes.
Outstanding. And George, you got yours where?
Right in Bertrand.
Longest main beam, 27 inches. Leona Dowd from Reese, an 11-point. Brag about it a little bit, Leona.
Well, I'm pretty proud of it.
I bet. How many years you been hunting?
12 years.
How many deer?
6.
Bucks?
Not all.
Not all of them? Hey, well, you should be mighty proud of that. Outstanding. What day of the season did you get it?
On Monday, the 18th.
Monday? Good. Great to see you in the lineup, Leona. Sean Sirk from Cement City, 14-point with a bow. This is the largest bow kill
Yes, sir.
that we got. That is a great rack. Heavy-bodied Eastern Michigan buck. Huh?
Thank you.
Boy, I bet there's stories that go behind these. We'll hear them at Big Buck Night. John Morales from Olivet, a 17-point with a shotgun. This is the largest shotgun, tied for the largest by the point system. And you got this where?
You know that.
Down around home?
Yep.
Wow, Southern Michigan bucks, and we got another Southern Michigan buck tied for the largest shotgun buck, 17 points, Robert Bowen. Smile, Bob. This is great. This is the one with the largest points taken with a shotgun, Southern Michigan, right around home here. And here we are to Dan Huffman, who on Big Buck Night has the buck with the most points. This deer was how old?
8.5. Estimated 8.
Man alive, an 8. You know this deer probably had a larger rack than this when it was younger?
Yes.
No doubt. You got him on his way down. 19 points. Dan Huffman from Rapid River. You're going to be seeing a lot of these people at our Sportsman's Banquet. You'll be able to have a chance to talk with them if you want to come down. That's in February. If you're a member of our Outdoors Club, which you can join right now by calling, getting on the phone, you'll be able to get a discount on tickets for what that's worth. But I keep saying what this is really worth. I just got a note here about Morton F. Morton F. unfortunately has the flu today. He's up in 2 feet of snow in Harbor Springs, and he's in bed, hopefully watching Big Buck Night. I'm sure he is with us. He is 82 years old today. Next week, we're going to have Mort on the show from a segment we taped earlier this summer. We're going to have his address, and I hope that you folks will tune in, get his address, and write him a Get Well Merry Christmas card. But Mort Neff is the one who started Big Buck Nights. He's the one who started Michigan Outdoors here in Michigan in 1951. He is the one who inspired me to put this together and make it bigger and better every year. Don't you think it's great that hunting is on television? That we had a brief moment. It was only an hour tonight, but it was a live statewide special, even into Canada. Please, you have about 10 more minutes when we go to the local breaks to register your vote for outdoor programming, more hunting and fishing on public television. I tell you, we will have more one-hour specials, more live specials. This is what's in our hands. It's in your hands. Grab that phone and call, please. Thank you for joining us. It was a super Big Buck Night in 1985.